Hi, Dr. Penn.
Hi, Mrs. Penn.
Why don't you tell everyone who you are?
It's Dr. Gary Penn, and that says it all. That's it. That's the whole story of my life is I'm Dr. Gary Penn.
Dr. Gary Penn.
And then I married the most amazing woman
I'm Mrs. Dr. Gary Penn. I'm Jeannine.
She's Jeannine.
And quickly, I'm a designer, artist, and his wife.
Yeah. Among 15 or 30 other things.
Among other things.
Yes.
So here we are. This is our second episode of Dr. and Mrs. Penn. We would also say it's our second date, which if you watch the first, you'll know why it's the second. Thank you for coming back. If you're back for the second, and if you're here for the first.
Welcome aboard.
Exactly. So, okay, our thing we've decided is to start with a rapid fire of something that we might be talking about today. So, quick answers.
Yes, my dear.
Do you go to sleep mad? Quick answer.
Well,
Quick. You'll talk about it later.
sometimes.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
I agree. Sometimes.
Because I can't.
I don't think you should.
I can't sleep when I.
Okay, we'll talk about it more. I don't think you should,
Yeah.
but yes, sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Would you fight with a friend the way you fight with a partner?
No, not at all.
Ditto. Also, not to say too much, but that's an interesting conundrum.
Is that painful?
Oh, no. Shh.
Okay.
Have you ever broken anything like in the movies, like when they like throw a glass in the fireplace or plates, or because you're mad?
Maybe a heart.
A heart?
Yeah, I've broken something.
Oh. Okay, I have. I'm embarrassed to say.
Oh.
It was because of you. Is it okay to shelf an issue?
I guess if the options are we're just like sitting there, just
Short answer.
destroying each other and miserable. Yes, well, yes, but it's. Not,
I think
it's not.
sometimes is actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Depends. Do you fight to win?
Not anymore. I used to. I used to fight.
Okay, later.
I have more to say.
It's very hard for Gary to be succinct.
I've got more to say.
And there will be a lot to say
Okay.
after we're done with the rapid fire.
Okay.
Do you fight to win? My answer is no. Not intentionally. Okay. So this brings us to a big topic
Yes, dear.
and something I think you've developed in your practice. The concept of fighting for each other, not against each other. And you doing it in your practice has been really different in your marriage, right? Like easier said than done sometimes. However, I think our experience in our relationship has proven that it's really true, that you really want to be fighting for each other and not against each other. So I'm going to let you have a doctor moment because I'll pipe in, but this is a very big topic. It's a tough topic. Even coming up with our rapid fire was hard. We talked to like Messiah, our producer, and our son and his girlfriend, and everyone's sort of like, blah, 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 'cause it's not fun. It's not funny. It can be funny. Sometimes we have stupid fights, but when you're really fighting, it's the worst part probably. Well, no, it's not. I take it back. It's not the worst part, but it's not a good part.
As a psychologist, a lot of people come to therapy. I see a lot of couples. I taught couples therapy for 20 years. I could see the matrix when it comes to that. And it's interesting. So I'll be in a session with a couple and they're just going at it. They're just so, it feels existential for both of them. And I'm sitting in my chair and I'm watching them, and they're having this intense argument. And so in the middle of the argument, I'll lean in and I'll say to them, yes, yes, feel your anger. Feel the power of the dark side. And I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love the analogies that they use. But it's actually very apt. They get so enamored with being right and with hurting the one person that they need to make them feel better and to make them feel whole. And all they want to do in that moment is to destroy them. Or maybe that's too big of a word, but it's like they're so committed. They're not fighting for anything. They're fighting against this person that they love so much, apparently, that maybe hurt them. And it's just so dysfunctional. So when I say that, they usually just stop cold. And I say, look, when I work with a couple and they're fighting, one of my coaching is to say, try to find out why your partner's correct. Try to see why she's right, or try to see why he's right. It doesn't mean that they are right, but at least try to think about it for a moment.
I would, if I may.
Please.
Based on some of our early marriage fights and knowing what ultimately helped us get better at it, wasn't just being right. It was that thing, that like pain point that each of us had that we needed the other person to understand and be willing to be more available to help there with the pain point than to get their point across, right? Like,
yeah,
we hardly ever really fight right now. We have bickering, stupid fights, but we fought too much during our first year of marriage. And I don't think for me it was about, I got to win this fight. I'm sure so much of it for each of us for different reasons was what we came into the marriage with, what relationships we had before. We got engaged really quick. We were blending families. Everybody has their reasons, right? You could be 25 years old. You could be 50 years old. Like you're coming into it with how you grew up, how they fought, what you've been through in other relationships. And there was something for you that was so important. And I wasn't intentionally not doing it for you. Like, it wasn't that it's like learning another language in some ways, right? Like, it seems foreign. Like, you're like, can't you see this is what I need? It's just for you to acknowledge what I'm saying isn't crazy or ridiculous, even if I don't agree with you. And I would be like, but I don't agree with you. And it really wasn't about that. It was about me saying, I could see your point. Even if I don't agree with you, I can see your point. That's all you really wanted. But I was so caught up in whatever I was caught up in that I couldn't. But we got to the point of fighting so much that I broke plates one day. Never done that before. I was just so frustrated. We were like, it's probably a little less than a year into our marriage, because I didn't think I was being heard. I understood why people break things, even though sometimes it's because they're crazy. It's like, you're not listening to me. You're not hearing me. And you felt the same way. And it was, I feel like a big part of it is, this is a pain point and I love you. So I'm going to give you what you need. I don't have to agree with you, but I love you and I don't want to keep doing this, and I don't want us not to be married.
I see it in a little different way. I think that what happened, what I saw happening was I would, it felt to me, I know my problem at the time is when I was upset with you, I would shut down. And you hated that.
Well, that was my pain point.
You couldn't stand it.
Right, but that was my pain
yes,
point,
so-
and I needed you not to do that
Yes.
for me to even have a reasonable argument
Yes,
with you.
you
So if you did that, then I was
Yes.
lost.
and you were just, and my issue with you is when we would,
Did you have issues with me?
yes, my problem with you,
What, do you have problems with me? Wait a minute. I thought we were perfect. Never mind. Go ahead.
so, can I say it now?
Yes, dear.
Is that you could not say that's a fair criticism. You just couldn't do it. And we would be arguing sometimes, like it seemed like just forever. And I would say to you, this argument ends. You say, that's a fair criticism. And for whatever reason, you had a really hard time saying that. Your biggest pain point for me is that when I was upset with you, I would shut down. And you hated that. You just...
Because sometimes it would be not just for 15 minutes, but hours, days, I was like...
Yeah, you hated it.
I need some...
Yeah. So I think we came to...
And some, I know that a lot of that had to do, not how I grew up. There was a very, I don't want to get into the details of this, but there was a very fraught relationship with somebody, and that was a constant. And but we got past it. We both learned what the other person needed to be able to have, like, I want to say, a fair fight.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to fight.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody fights once in a while, especially when you're...
Well, the thing I say is we fight for each other. We don't fight against each other.
Yeah.
So if we could fight for each other... What about the time when I asked you if you could take me to this place and you said no? Like, we all, we have the goods on each other.
Oh, yeah.
I know exactly what to say just to get...
Well, now, especially, many years later, like... And I think this happens, couples that are married years and years and years talk about having the goods on each other. And...
Yeah. No wonder your last partner left you, or
you don't want to use that against somebody. No. You want to be sensitive to that. I mean, okay, I'm going to flip this for 1 second, even though we're talking about fighting. Well, because this is the good side.
Okay.
Right? Because we have been for each other and for this relationship, even when we weren't doing a good job of it. Right? That is why we're still here. Fundamentally, we love each other. We've always loved each other. We wanted this to work. We wanted to move forward. And so I think that's first, right? If you get to the place where you just stop doing that, that's our dog Astra, who every once in a while has something to say and something's going on. So we had that. And I think when we realized, like, we're exhausted. We've been fighting way too much. I think a lot of people, you hear their first year of marriage, because it's such a big thing to get married and be like, oh my God, we're married. Now we're going to do this all the time. And
I'm stuck with this person for the rest of my life.
And you do that all the time. It's so much of it is insignificant. So many of the things I think that people, I have friends that will call me and be like, and I'm like, does it really matter? And that might be maturity and life, things that happen where you realize how many things are not important. But fundamentally, you have to just feel like, you're my person. I want to be here. I want this to keep going. I think that's actually what happened with us. We kind of looked at each other and said, we have to figure this out.
Yes.
Because I don't want to go another year of this, but I don't want to split up.
Well, the other part, which I think is so critical, is like, there's an old Buddhist saying that we can't see our own eyebrows, right? So, like, you could see me in a way that I can't see myself, right? And I can see you in a way that you can't see yourself. And it's such a joy when, like, you know, if someone could tell you something, let's say it's critical, what have you, and you trust them and you believe in them, and they're not saying it just to shame you. They're saying it, this is the truth. Like if you, like, let's say, you know, you say to me, Gary, your shoe's untied. And I'll say, well, fuck you, your fly's undone. Like, what's the point? I have the goods on you. I could criticize you as you're criticizing me, but the joy of being in a relationship is you make me a better man. And hopefully I make you a better woman. And some of the betterness happens because you're saying, Gary, what are you doing? Or, you know, Jeannine, what's going on? Like, you know, you can do better, or this or this or this. And so when we fight, I say it to my patients all the time, try to understand why the other person's correct. Like, really try to understand why what they're saying is right. Now, it may not be right, but at least give it a good vetting of, you know what, okay, that's a fair criticism.
Or at least that it's got validity.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be right. Like,
yeah, okay.
That's a valid point,
Yeah.
right? Like, I may see things differently, but you have a valid point. I have a valid point.
That's right.
And you were saying something earlier about, oh, I forgot what I was going to respond to, but it was the tone in which it was like how you respond to something.
Yeah.
Then sets the whole tone, right? If you're just defensive and angry as opposed to, I'm really trying from my heart because I love you, even though my head is just exploding right now. I'm really, really trying to feel this and understand this and not just be reactive, because we're all incredibly reactive during fights. That's a big part, I think, of where it goes sideways. We're just all emotion and all reactive, and we're not rational in a lot of ways. And it's, if you could take a breath and just be like, and I know that's what happened with us years ago, was like, take a breath. This has to work. So I have to change. You had to change and I had to change. I didn't have to change you. I had to change. You had to change for yourself. You had to see, like you said, you had to see where I was coming from and why you couldn't, not that you never do that anymore, but you couldn't go silent and disappear on me, because that just was adding fuel to a flame, and I couldn't not acknowledge what you were saying, and just adding fuel to the flame. So
And if you
that is, wait, hold on one second.
All right, go ahead.
That you could, that is the crux, though, of fighting for each other. You know what we forgot as you're taking a sip? Because we're only in our second episode. I'm totally digressing for a second. What are you drinking?
Oh, Glenlivet.
Glenlivet's your favorite.
It's delicious. Now, drink responsibly.
Responsibly.
I've had too many drinks, I can't say it. Drink responsibly.
Okay. This is supposed to be like our fake ad moment, not when you're like a blubbering idiot. We can't do that.
We're doing a fake ad because I want Glenlivet to be our sponsor, which I think is really great. Here we are, look at this. We're a perfect couple. We have the perfect demographic.
And you drink it almost every night.
Yeah, that's right. I always usually have a small glass of Glenlivet when I come home from work. And it's my guilty pleasure.
Okay, so cheers to Glenlivet. I'm just drinking a little red wine tonight, a little Cabernet. I want to go back a second, because even though we are a little bit playful with our rapid fire, I thought that is it okay to shelf an issue? Is a really valid thing to consider for me. It may not be the right time. There might be some big things, or you just might not be able to get to a resolution. So sometimes maybe it is good to say, let's think about this for a day. This isn't going anywhere. Let's think about this for a day, but that doesn't mean we have to be ice cold, horrible to each other for a day. Let's not go to sleep mad. Let's just know we have an issue. There are issues, right? Like I said, we don't fight that much, but we have things that we don't agree on. And so sometimes it's like, I got to think about it. I just have to think about it. And how do we come to a resolution? And the resolution sometimes may be, we are never going to be on the same side of this. So how do we live with it? What would you say? What would you say to patients about that? If they really can't get on the same side of something that maybe isn't life important stuff, okay, there's the stupid examples like people don't put the toothpaste cap on, like who cares? But like maybe it's okay, this is a good one. And we've had this in the past, not the present, but maybe somebody in the family, a sibling, a parent. A lot of people have in-law issues, right? And you're never going to be the same on the same, good or bad, right? And at some point, so that it's not a constant like, I hate your mother, which that wasn't the issue either, but like you hear that all the time.
Well, we had that problem when we started. My daughter was very young then.
Young, in her 20s, young. My son was 6, so yeah.
Okay. So she was, and she had me all to herself for a very long time. And we got married relatively quickly.
We did.
And she had a problem. And I knew she would. I absolutely knew she would. I knew it would be really, really hard for her. And she wasn't her best self with you at all. She was tough. I don't think she was horrendous or anything. There wasn't any felonies, but there were misdemeanors.
And you didn't want to do anything about it.
And what? It wasn't that I didn't want to do anything about it. I maybe that's true. Okay, hang on. That's true. Now take note, everybody. Did you notice? Did you notice that little two-step?
Okay, I want to interject something, and then I want to hear the rest of this.
Wait, I got to figure.
Okay.
I want to tell our audience.
Yes.
When you know you're wrong, just say, wait a minute. Like, sometimes we get so committed to our bullshit.
So true.
And we're going to go to the wall for it.
So true.
And it's like we get so committed. But then when I'm sitting there and then I said it and I go, wait a minute. Let me do a do-over. And it's such a pleasure. But go ahead, I'm sorry, dear.
I felt like I had to say this because this is a podcast and it's public, which is so weird to me. Because today, not this day today, but present day, I love his daughter, her husband, and my grandchild so much, which is also a testament to how things can improve and change when you're open. And they love me. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine life, without them. And our son is 23 and adores Gary. We are a family. So I had to say that because who knows who's watching this and listening to this, and it's important because it's important to me. And things can change. Things can change and improve. I want to go back because I know you wanted to say something, but we were talking about shelving an issue.
Yes.
This actually became an issue that I had to shelf. The fighting for how this communication would go between him and his daughter and me and her and whatever, I just had to accept, it is what it is. It's not what I want it to be. I wanted a better relationship. I wanted him to stand up for me more, but I don't want to fight about it anymore.
And here's the other thing. I don't think I don't think you were wrong, and I don't think my daughter was wrong. Now, she may have, been snarky, and she may have been, doing this to you. But contextually, I understood it. And I also understood that it was really bothering you. And it was like, so it was one of those things, like sometimes when we're in relationships, we have these like situations that are like, it's kind of like what's that called? Like a no-win scenario. There was some movie like,
Catch-22?
Is it Catch-22, a no-win scenario? It's something like that, where you just can't win. Because if you're...
That's exactly why I regressed from not regressed, well, maybe regressed. Is that the right word?
Evolved.
No, that's not what I retreated a little from I did evolve, but I also retreated.
Yeah.
Because it went on for a long time. And in all honesty, I think that she wasn't wrong. She was coming from wherever she was coming from. I was coming, and I love you, and you know that, but I don't think you handled it as well as you could. And I needed you to be taking a different stand. And then I needed to accept that you weren't going to, for your reasons that I later understood, like what she meant in your life, which you hope all people's children are that much in your heart. And again, we're going way back at this point, but it's an example though also of, so I was actually talking about shelving something, like shelving it for a day or two, but sometimes you got to shelf it for a year or two. Sometimes you just have to shelf it forever, because you may never be able to get on the same side of certain things. We're human. Like we're human. We come from different places. We come from different experiences. Is it important enough to blow up your relationship, or is it important enough to be fighting all the time? That was the biggest decision for us. No, it is not.
Yes. There's a saying in poker that sometimes the most money you will win playing poker is the hands that you don't play.
Mm-hmm.
Because you realize that if, like, let's say I have like, I don't know, pocket tens or something, and all the people around me are just betting like they're cuckoo, or even if I have pocket jacks or something, and the pot gets really big, and then I realize, like, wait a minute, I'm not ahead right now, so I'm going to fold. And if I would have stayed, I would have been felted. I would have been broke. So sometimes the most money you will make is the hands that you don't play. Sometimes you may think, and you may objectively be right, well, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve anyone treating me this way, which would be correct. But to not play that hand, part of the reason, like, look at your relationship now, the two of you. It's like, okay.
Well, not just look at the relationship, the two of us, but look how we got past certain things.
That's right.
Because we
didn't want to go
folded instead of played and lost.
That's right. So it's an interesting thing where it's like sometimes the most money you'll make is the hands that you don't play. And again, it's a lot of it is very young. If you find yourself in a fight and it's that existential, sometimes I say to my patients, tell me your age right now. What's the first number? What's the very first, like in the very first number? These people who are sometimes people are 40 or 50 or whatever. I'm 12, 10, 8.
What's your number?
Or
what used to be your number?
It's young, 10 or 11. Just.
Oh, you've matured.
Yeah. It's true.
It used to be, I think you used to tell me like 5 or 6.
Well, there's that part that's 5 or 6, but for that.
No, I think the 5 or 6 year old is actually matured.
But still, it's like, the point is, it's very young.
It's very young.
It's very young. And so when you're in with the person you love, with your partner, with your husband, your wife, your whatever that person is, and you start to get really activated, take a breath and just say, what age is this? And sometimes it will just like shock us. And you go, God, I just feel, because again, when we're so young, it wasn't me, it was you.
But I even think
It's your fault.
I think a lot of fighting in relationships is high school level stuff, right? Like so much of it I hear from other people. I'm like, are you in high school? Because even more like, yeah, there's that. But sometimes it's like, this is not a high school romance, right? You're an adult. A lot of people that come to you, and we have children. Like, what are you doing?
They literally go through a wormhole. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all been there.
A wormhole, and they lose 10 years and 10 years and 10 years. And all of a sudden, it becomes very existential. And you hear, and people just fight. Sometimes they break up.
Sometimes they break plates.
Plates.
So, okay. I don't know how much time we have. Messiah, how are we doing on time? Messiah's our producer, if anyone hasn't heard me say that before. Sometimes you might hear him, or I might ask him a question, or whatever. So, what you just said made me think of, just to go back to this, but the question was, would you fight with a friend the way you fight with a partner? And I think most people would say no, because maybe a family member, maybe not even a best friend, because you don't usually want best friend breakups. And I think so many fights that people have in relationships could lead to that. So why do you think, okay, we could answer what we would answer, but why do you think, I kind of know this answer, but why do you think people will get so ugly in their fights with their partners?
Because you know better. You know me, you've seen me naked in many different ways, like psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually. You know my weak points.
Right, but why would I want, I guess my question...
Because you're not attending to me. Because you're not doing what you know I need. What I think that you know what I need. I'm talking not necessarily about us per se.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in general when you're in a relationship and the person you're with, and you know that this person, they know all the secret places in my psychology.
Right. So my question is,
and you're not.
Why is that person who knows what you need and supposedly loves you? What's the
reason?
What's the underlying reason? A lot of times,
because you have your own stuff that I'm not giving you, and so you're like trying to incapacitate me, so I could give it to you, and I'm trying to incapacitate, but then we're both incapacitated, and it becomes so dire sometimes.
So obviously, this is not a pitch for anyone to go to Dr. Gary Penn
Or any therapist per se.
Or any therapist. Therapy, however, can be a way to get perspective. What are some other things besides therapy that you would recommend? And I'm going to think about this for a minute while you talk. Like, obviously getting you don't always want to get friends and family involved, but getting perspective, right? You have to get perspective. You have to get away to get a look. That's why I say you wouldn't fight with your friends like this. Because if you looked at yourself, there have been times when we've been fighting, not recently, where I was like, you should see your face right now. You've said it to me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I think that would be an interesting thing to actually start videoing somebody, because if they saw themselves, it's usually the worst version of someone.
Yeah.
And you would not be that way with most people. You just wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it in public. You wouldn't do it with friends. You wouldn't do it at work. Because if you would, it wouldn't go far. Friends are not going to put up with that. A boss, coworkers are just going to be like, oh, stay away from so-and-so. What I think I'm getting at is, yes, there's a vulnerability that you don't want to play on, but you also have to see, like, you are not in your best behavior right now. And especially with this person you love, why would you treat them that way? I think it'd be a little kooky, but like it's like take out the camera and video somebody, because I think most of us would be horrified if we saw that version of ourselves.
Yeah, it's a great question though. Like, why do we get to that place? And if we could,
And why do we think we have permission to get to that place?
because
we shouldn't have permission to treat anybody in our worst way in a fight.
I'm 7 years old and you're my mommy at this time.
Oh,
We're
God, please,
fighting,
no.
And I've regressed, and you're not giving me what I need, or I'm not giving.
And this is actually true sometimes.
Yeah.
When you
we. Yes.
but when okay. Well, the thing is, if you reminded me of my mother, that would be good. And you
Your mother's a saint, for God's
And you
sake.
do. You never met my mother, but yeah, my mother was
From what
pretty
I've
saintly.
heard, yes.
And you do remind me of my father sometimes, and that's not bad. Except we were talking about in the first episode when you were being cheap and didn't buy me dinner.
Wow.
So I love my dad. He was a little frugal. Frugal's a better word.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's, for me, it's not about my mom and dad, thankfully. It's about relationships that happened after and how I was treated or acted or didn't act in those relationships. So there was years of garbage, right? That was for me. For you, it started in childhood. And so we bring our garbage into a relationship. Everybody has some garbage, even if you've had an ideal life. Something's happened. If you get to be an adult with nothing happening, you're very charmed life and you're probably not listening to us. That's the reality. I personally don't know anyone that hasn't had something happen, if it's not to them, to someone in their family. Like, could be health things, it could be breakups, it could be a lot of stuff. Like, we bring that in and then we feel really safe with this person and then we dump on them.
I have a saying that I say.
Gary loves sayings.
That's why it's called a saying. Because I have a saying that I say. You know, I just thought of that just now. I just want you to know, wait, let's take a moment.
You're genius.
Let's take a moment.
Genius moment.
Yes. It's just, you ever like have one of those things where you realize I have a saying, which what I say, because that's what I say.
Oh, you know what I wish I had right now? You know, there's like little thought bubble things.
Yes.
I want to put a little
I feel like
genius thought bubble.
I'm not like, Albert Einstein or something. Mine is, I don't figure out relativity. I figure out, oh, I got a saying. That's what, and that's what I'm saying. That's amazing.
I know this was a lot. This is a big topic. It's intense. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it many times.
So how do you think our second podcast went?
I think it went really well, especially for such a tough topic. And I hope that we have a third date with our audience, and we're going to go on to the next topic, which also I want to make sure people write in their own stories or questions, because maybe it will spark a new podcast.
I think that would be just great.
Awesome.
I would love to have people reach out to us and say, what about this, my dopey partner?
Yeah.
Like we could talk about.
So share your stories, and we look
it would be
forward
fun.
to seeing you next week.
Yeah.
Take care.